Well, hello. How is everybody? I'm off camera today. It's good to see everybody. Thank you for being here. Yay. Hi, No Name. Okay, let me say hi to everybody so that nobody feels left out. Nietzsche, Anna, Silva L, Sherry, No Name. Hang on, Beth, Schrodinger, Pressure. Said hi to Silva L already. All right, that's it so far. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. Now, hi, Zarfax. Hello, Katie. Good to see you. Okay, so you may be wondering what the hell does Bridget have to do with this? Well, let me explain the backstory. So, a little over, hi, Aunt. How are you? Hi, Brenna. All right. So, a little over a year ago, or hey, say cheese, it's good to see you. Game, you know what? I was looking through uh, the chat from yesterday's stream, and you said that you thought that I might have lived in Old Town or in, that general area. Game, I have never lived in Virginia, not ever. The farthest away I got from DC was Kensington. And it wasn't even Kensington, it was actually Wheaton, but they were marketing properties in that neighborhood as East Kensington to make it sound fancier. But no, I've never lived in Virginia. I've lived at Cathedral Heights in DC, Logan Circle, Shaw, Brookland, and let me think if I've lived anywhere besides there. Um, yeah, Logan Circle, which back then was called DuPont East. Again, trying to make a really horrible, dangerous neighborhood sound glamorous. Hi, Weezen. Hi, Otter. Okay. But yeah, Old Town. Never lived in Old Town. Nope. Never lived in Virginia, full stop. Okay. So let me go back to explaining the business with this individual that I'm talking about today. So, a little over a year ago, I did a live stream on Rumble about Sneako. And Bridget took exception to it. Now, because I'm not a psychotic weirdo, I don't screenshot every single nasty tweet that people send about me. But Bridget's comment about my Sneako stream was that she thought it was weird if she criticized me for going after such a young man, a much younger content creator. Well, here's the thing about Sneako. Sneako is a bigot. Um, he advocates for very dubious types of relationships. Um, he is a neo-Nazi, and those are his good qualities. He's got a lot of other bad ones. So, Bridget apparently has taken it upon herself to prevent anyone white from criticizing anyone with a slightly darker skin tone. Well, I don't play that game, Bridget. Sneako, much like yourself, is mixed race. Sneako, unlike yourself, is a Hitler loving, David Duke befriending, Nick Fuentes adoring, anti Semite, and a bigot. So, no, madam, I am afraid that you are SOL and that I am going to talk about whatever subject I want and I will criticize whomever I like, no matter what their skin tone. Yeah, we're going to get to that, Deaf Otter. We've got a lot to cover. Now, you guys know that I am a huge fan of the Willy Mac show, and his channel is listed in the description box. And throughout the course of the stream, I am going to be stopping or including in my commentary a reminder that Bridget criticized me for criticizing this man. All right. This man is the lowest of the fucking low. And I make no apologies for bringing him to everyone's attention because he is utterly vile. And of course, Willie Mac is the man um, to expose him because Willy Mac's content is excellent. And don't worry, you guys, do not worry because I will soon be getting to Hassan Piker, all of his orbiters. I'm sure she'll criticize me for that too because Hassan is Turkish and apparently I'm not allowed to criticize Turks. I'm not allowed to criticize people who are bigoted against people like me, apparently, according to Bridget. And according to Bridget, no one who is mixed race of any race can be criticized for any reason by somebody that's white. So let's get on with it because this guy is a piece of fucking work. And I think that we all need to learn about him. Let's go, Willy.
Sneako lacks the ability to think for himself. His former point of view was just to disagree with whatever the mainstream media says because they must be wrong, always.
When it comes to wearing masks, how do you know if that's a good idea or not?
Because if people more powerful than me are telling me to do it, I instantly don't believe them.
That's wonderful.
A flat earther.
If the earth is round, why are there so many flat points? Why is every time you look, it's completely flat for miles and miles and miles? That doesn't make sense.
That's a good question.
Sneako stopped believing that Hitler was a Nazi. The leader of the Nazi party was no longer a Nazi to Sneako.
Kanye was joking when he said that he liked Hitler, though.
No, he's being truthful. But he was saying something provocative on purpose. The overall idea, see, people say like, oh, look, he's a Nazi. No, he's not. He's black. Yeah, he's not a Nazi. That's the point.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, but you said he can't be a Nazi because he's black.
Okay, but he's not a Nazi.
Oh, but not because he's
black.
Just for other reasons.
Well, you also can't be a true Nazi. You have to be blonde hair, blue eyed. Even Hitler wasn't a true Nazi.
Imagine.
Nazi, I suppose.
Yeah.
I feel like if that's how you're defining Nazi becomes a useless statement because if we can't even call the leader of the Nazi movement a Nazi, then
by his own definition, he wasn't part of the master race. So
yeah, and then nobody's a Nazi. So it doesn't seem like that's a good definition of Nazi.
Owned by a woman? Cringe? He's so against mainstream norms that he doesn't believe that Hitler was evil.
Right.
Evil. Do you see what you're doing? You want me to agree with this specific narrative so bad.
Sneako needs to ask for the definition of evil. Sneako then agrees that Hitler meets that definition, but he still won't say it.
What is your criteria of evil?
Profoundly immoral, and wicked.
Yeah, I think he did. He did commit some wicked behavior, of course.
Okay, so I just wanted to point out that this man that Bridget did not want me to criticize, I thought for quite some time that this guy was trolling. I thought that he was kidding, and so there was sort of a part of me that was going with the troll. But then when he hooked up with the whole Andrew Tate crowd and he converted to Islam and he started getting more and more and more extreme, I thought, you know what? This guy wants to be taken seriously. So I think that I owe him the courtesy of taking him at his word. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. Now, this is a guy who has been banned off of Twitch. He's been banned off of Kick and he's been banned off of YouTube. He came back to YouTube very, very briefly. And some people are saying that they think that may have been a glitch. But within like a couple of hours of coming back to YouTube, he was banned again. So he's found a home on Rumble, which is exactly where he belongs. And what he does is he's hooked up with like the curdled edges of the manosphere because that's where he started. He started in the manosphere and then he got more and more and more into like the extreme Andrew and whatever. What is Andrew Tate's brother's name? Crispin or Christian or whatever his name is. Tate, the Tate brothers. And he got more and more and more into that. And he is now in a situation where he has talked himself into a corner. I don't give a shit how old you are. If you've got a huge following and you are on social media and this is the kind of stuff that you're doing, then I think we need to take a closer look.
Is he evil?
I don't want to say the same thing that you're saying, man. I don't want to go and I'm not going to partake in this group thing. I'm not going to.
Yeah, Donna, he did convert to Islam because he's such a huge admirer of Andrew Tate that when Andrew Tate converted to Islam, Sneako decided to follow suit.
Go and do this.
Bro, imagine being mentally finessed by Aiden Ross. This guy eats his own boogers.
He's a booger eating kind of guy.
So instead of believing public educators and documentation, Sneako decided to follow the path of Nick Fuentes. If you don't know, Nick Fuentes is a self-described white supremacist.
What we need to defend as a concept is European supremacy.
He hates race mixing. He once said that having sex with a dog
Thank
was
you,
similar to
Sherry.
having sex
Thank
with
you,
a black
Sherry,
person.
so
You said
much.
that Nick is a white supremacist. I'm curious to like what he said specifically that makes you think that.
Well, I did hear leaked audio of you comparing a white woman having sex with a dog to having sex with a black man and saying that it was basically the same level of degeneracy. And that was like leaked audio. So I felt like that was kind of telling about what you might say behind the scenes.
Yeah, and
Maybe that was a joke.
well, no. I mean, I can explain the.
It didn't sound like a joke.
And I was saying that I'm against race mixing. I think that that people should marry their own kind. So that's the part that wasn't recorded. Is I'm saying
Sherry, everybody, big ups to Sherry for gifting 10 memberships. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Sherry, for the 10 memberships, and congrats to the new members. She doesn't care, Drop. She doesn't care. All that she cares about is the color of his skin and the color of mine, which is why I am not allowed to criticize him, A, because of the color of his skin, and B, because he's younger than I am, which means, I guess, that the only people that I am allowed to discuss are her and Jan, and that's it. Being the senior members of whatever this community passes for. Bridget loves to create new rules for people she doesn't like. But I don't follow them. So let's continue. And, it was so funny because Hecate was questioning whether a gay man can be a white nationalist. Hecate, just so you know, this man right here, the founder of the Groypers, Nick Fuentes. I've heard quite a few very spicy tales about his closeted homosexuality, alleged, and about some of the stunts that he's pulled with roommates. You might want to look that up. It is absolutely disgusting what he put some of his roommates through. And yeah, that would be Nick. So yeah, you can be gay and a white nationalist.
I'm against race mixing.
Sneako is mixed and wouldn't even exist in the theoretical America that Nick Fuentes wants to create. But like a good puppy, Sneako defends him.
These are all things which I would consider wrong. Yeah, and but
Sneako just hops on board.
Sneako recently went to a Nick Fuentes America First event. These events are extremely hateful.
And at the end of the day, you know what else has got to go in a Christian society?
Take a guess.
Well, I mean, this is a big one. This is a big one, okay? And this is going to be the controversial one, but this is the one, this is the only one that hates Jesus in the world. Not Hinduism, not Islam, not Buddhism. But the other thing that's got to go from the public life at the highest levels is this Talmudic Judaism.
Amazing.
America, they say diversity is our strength, And I look at China and I look at Russia. Can we give a round of applause for Russia?
You know what's really sad? This is an AFPAC event. Ronald Reagan is probably spinning in his grave. And all those old school conservatives who fought like hell, those cold warriors who fought to bring the wall down and tried to defeat the Soviet Union. And here we have these guys who were openly advocating for China and Russia and who adore Putin. I look at what's happened to the conservative movement, and it makes me never want to stop throwing up.
Yes.
Hi, D.
Absolutely.
Sneako was like, "Oh, it was great. I met the leader of the KKK."
Good to be in Detroit and be around all the people there.
Why, yes. Why, yes. He is, Rachel. And he and Nick Fuentes and Kanye were honored guests at Mar-a-Lago. So absolutely, yes. Yep. 1,000,000%. And Sneako is a huge supporter of Kanye's.
For the America First movement. And, I really believe in this stuff. Like before I even get into all this, I genuinely believe in putting America first. And I believe that I can only start by putting Israel last. So, and, support my boy Nick Fuentes and meet all the guys out there, Lucas Gage.
Oh,
you are right, Otter.
Lucas Gage is. Let me just look him up.
I'm sick and tired of these Jews. I'm a good Jew. No, you're not. There is no such thing as a good Jew. Period. And
this Lucas Gage went absolutely mental. Thank you, No Name, for the 10 memberships again. Congratulations to the new members. I hope you all enjoy your memberships. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. So generous, so kind. Thank you very much. Lucas Gage recently had a nervous breakdown because somebody sent pizzas to his house. And of course, he thought that there was a vast Jewish conspiracy that got together to phone Domino's and send pizzas to his house, which was a human rights violation of some kind. I don't know if he's still married. I think that his wife left him. I think that pretty much everybody has abandoned him. He's been blocked everywhere because he's out of his goddamn mind. He's out of his mind. But let's continue.
The story.
Arthur Quan Lee.
I wonder who Arthur Quan Lee is.
There are two types of Satanism represented in the culture. Those practitioners worship at the altar of the synagogue of Satan.
Literally the most hateful people alive, and Sneako's pogging out.
Met David Duke. I had like no idea this fucking Grand Wizard of the.
Nick was giving a speech about how Jews control the world, and all these venues decided to kick them out for it.
What happened was Nick Fuentes got kicked out of every single venue. The America First event that happened, first the venue lied. And then they pushed him out and the cops came and they locked down the door. So they had to find a last minute venue. They banned the event. It's just like absolutely disrespectful. I came all the way to Detroit. I would never go to Detroit without this event. And they
Why? Are you racist? What's wrong with going to Detroit? You've got a problem with Detroit? Did I tell you guys, by the way, that when I went on that tour of the Gaza envelope, my guide was a former Israeli Navy SEAL who knew quite a bit about American real estate. And he came up with this scheme that he could fly over to Indianapolis. We could go to Detroit together and go house hunting and buy rundown houses in Detroit, because he was saying that the housing market in Detroit is going to take it's going to go through a huge upswing. I can't believe that we've got that Ozzy Osbourne dead troll back in chat. That is hilarious. John, don't panic. That guy has been around. No, John, Ozzy is not dead. This man has been trolling that same message for years, like 2 or 3 years. He always pops up in chat and drops that message. So apparently Detroit is on the upswing. And if I were younger and I had more free time on my hands, I would think, okay, well, maybe we could get a bunch of contractors together and flip some properties, but I just don't have the stomach to get involved in risky real estate ventures. So what's wrong with Detroit, Sneako? What's wrong? Are you racist? You don't want to be around black people? Is that your problem or what?
Shut it down because they don't believe in what he talks about. It's probably Zionists who were shutting it down. And they had the second venue. They had it at this bar. And even then, like, they didn't like what the speech was about.
So they started screaming F you to security, who then punches Sneako's tooth out.
He's got this busted up tooth. Smile for me, man. This was the security guard at this thing, at this event right up here.
What's crazy?
Good for him. Good for him. I have never been so satisfied seeing somebody get kicked in the face as I have Sneako at that event.
Sneako goes on stream afterwards and he's like, actually, these establishments were really unprofessional with how they acted.
Venue, like, paid security from the venue should not be doing that under any especially under those circumstances. They didn't like what the speech was about. People were riled up. They're talking about Zionism. They're talking about Israel. And so they start playing music and they cut off the microphone. And that got me pissed off. And that they were taunting. The people that were at the venue started like dancing around and flipping everybody off.
Bro, we're having a Nazi town hall meeting. The leader of the KKK is there. He's a black security guard. You deserved it. He's shocked he got hit. He's like, oh, I can't believe none of the other Nazis stood up for me. I need my brothers here.
Right.
The mistake I made was like, a lot of these people, like, even though they're cool and I know they're from Twitter, like, they're not going to slide for me. Like, are random people who talk about Zionism on Twitter going to slide? Probably not.
Oh, you mean that a bunch of random people, a bunch of random neo-Nazis on Twitter aren't going to have your back? I am absolutely shocked. I'm absolutely shocked. Weren't you listening when Nick Fuentes said what he did about race mixing? You know that you are a race-mixed individual. What do you think he thinks of you? But anyway, let's continue.
The only people that really have your back are your family, your brothers. And I was just out there like with a bunch of white kids in suits. It's like, they're not gonna, and when shit hits the fan, they're not gonna be like, they'll take a picture, but they're not gonna be, supporting me to that level.
It's
what a shock.
Brown Muslim. You are what the entire movement stands against.
Exactly.
Nick Fuentes takes any video of a black guy doing something wrong and uses it to justify deporting all brown people.
People like Prime, he's just one of them. But we all know that's the attitude. They walk around swaggering, with their arms, chest puffed out because they know they can get away with anything. What kind of country do you want to live in? The last thing I'll say. You can be a racist asshole like me and live in a country where we don't put up with that because this is America. Or you could be a good anti-racist and live in a country where that kind of nonsense is tolerated. What
You know what's adorable about Nick Fuentes? Nick Fuentes was at the Capitol on January 6th, and he's gotten into so much legal trouble as a result of his inability to keep his mouth shut. He apparently lives in some dump in Chicago. He had all of his Paymaster, whatever accounts, like PayPal and everything. His bank account was shut down. Everything was shut down. But by God, this man persists. You know, he's not kidding about this stuff. Although I'm telling you, I would not be surprised a couple of years down the road to see this man convert to Islam. I wouldn't. I think that it's only a matter of time.
What country do you want to live in? What do you prefer? You prefer the racist asshole society where you say, hey, pull up your fucking pants, stop yelling, put the phone off speaker.
Oh, shit, I do that. And to this day, Sneako defends Nick.
Of course he does.
That he thinks people should call the FBI and say, I'm reporting race victims. Do you believe that? Or was he being facetious?
He's being exaggeratory for his hatred.
Okay, he's making a joke.
Based on how much he dislikes race mixing, Sneako,
right?
It's not just a disagreement.
Okay, well, that's not a Catholic belief. And if you look at his bio, it says Catholic. It says America first.
Sneako, can you not pick up context clues? It's like, oh, I wonder what Nick Fuentes thinks of Sneako's newfounded Muslim faith.
Charleston White is common sense. He's a real one, and he cooks Sneako on Islam, and he's right. Muslims are angry, and they have pointy shoes and curved swords, and they will cut off your head for being American. Everyone knows.
You know what I love, though, about this motherfucker? The thing that I really adore about Fuentes is that he is so desperate to stay relevant, and he is so desperate to stay on the good side of the Groypers that he has led the Groypers in some very unusual directions. Hey, Huey, how you doing? The most recent one being that he has pulled his support of Donald Trump and encourage the other Groypers to do so because Trump is too pro-Israel and he has declared his support of Kamala Harris. I think that is absolutely hysterical. I'm telling you, as far as stunt queens go, this guy is, I'm impressed. That latest stunt, I'm impressed.
They sell cigarillos to black people. They have beards and they're angry. That's why they're blowing themselves up.
He believes you should love everyone. There's no hatred.
That's how mentally cucked this guy is. Sneako talks the same way as Nick when it comes to other groups. He doesn't hate them. He just thinks their existence is gross.
Thinking that being gay is bad doesn't mean you hate gays, right? If being fat is bad, I don't hate fat people. It's gross. Like thinking something is gross, thinking being broke is gross or bad does not. I don't hate broke people. There's no rich people don't hate broke people. Just like straight people don't hate gays. It's just weird and disgusting. You're allowed to be disgusted by something and not hate it.
It's literally in the language you're using. If you're expressing publicly that you think something is gross and disgusting, the idea is you're being hateful towards it. You can play word games like, well, it doesn't mean you hate it, but I mean, like it's essentially what's being expressed.
Sneako, it's why when you got punched in the face, nobody helped you. It's because they think you're gross.
But being gay is a choice. That's a decision.
Sneako's like, just choose not to be gay. It's the most closeted, self-hating shit I've ever heard. Sneako's admitted to...
I'm telling you, I would love to see the new power couple of Sneako and Nick Fuentes. I think that would be lit, wouldn't it? It would be like the most bizarre and absolutely amazing wing of Gays for Palestine that the world has ever seen. And I, for one, am 1,000,000% in favor of that power couple forming. How can we make it happen? It's so adorable. And yes, Donna, he did say that. Go back and look it up. When I first saw it, I thought, stunt queen, amazing, Nick Fuentes, amazing.
Pretending to be gay to get a cigarette, and he doesn't even like cigarettes.
Hey, like your hair. Says, cutie or whatever. I'm like, you got a cigarette? He's like, yeah, for you. I take a cigarette. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to my friends. He's like, oh, okay, bye. And I just take the cig and leave. I flirted with the gay guy to get a cigarette. I don't even smoke like that.
But hey, Sneako, in Nick's all-white Christian society, you can stay. You can be the good one. Keep taking punches for Nick.
Putting my chin on the line for America first.
I come too fast. I come too fast.
Do it.
Something I noticed with these guys is they almost have a Sith-like relationship. You have Nick Fuentes, who's Emperor Palpatine.
Would you want Hitler to be president or a random woman? I'm like, duh, Hitler, obviously. Say it loud, say it proud. We want Hitler for president.
Then you have his apprentice, Sneako.
I don't care about Hitler's perspective.
So it's either understand perspective or don't.
Why does it matter what Hitler's perspective is? He's a sick man. You even admitted he's a piece of shit, Sneako, right? He's evil, right?
He won't say.
I think he was a bad person. I don't know if he was evil. I haven't met the guy.
But now Sneako needs an underling, and his target is Aiden Ross. Aiden has been hanging around Sneako a lot. They dress up as Mario characters and carve pumpkins together. But it's very obvious that Sneako is trying to radicalize Aiden. Aiden has recently changed his stance on Hitler. He's now a good leader.
Also, the weird argument was the Hitler, would you rather have your wife?
Okay, I'll be real. Guys, listen, I'm Jewish. You guys know that. Hitler was a great leader. What he did was wrong. I obviously so fucking screw. What he did was he killed innocent people, but he was a good leader. No, he literally was. Like,
this is a stupid conversation, but keep in mind, Sneako thinks what Hitler did to the Jews was good. Even if you don't count the Holocaust, he's still responsible for millions of people dying. But Sneako doesn't even believe in the Holocaust. That's why he talks this way.
I know there's Nazis today, but do you guys realize if hold on, you guys realize if the Holocaust kept going on, you guys realize if like Jews were being genocided and shit, I wouldn't be here right now.
It was mostly a work camp.
Okay.
It was the first time Jews had to do physical labor, and so they just complained so much and created Israel. It was mostly working. Auschwitz, they had like pools, they had like basketball courts, they were chilling.
Who?
And a lot of the work camps, they had pools and they had yards to go.
It's literally not
feeding them. Like if it was straight up genocide.
Why are they all skinny then?
Why would a lot of that's not true.
How do you convince somebody that
Okay, again, this is a station break. Station identification. This is the man that Bridget did not want me criticizing. This is the man that Bridget said should be off limits because he's a young man, and why would I dogpile him? Imagine me with my tiny Rumble channel that literally not a single solitary soul watched, except for some of my buddies here in chat and all the A-logs and lurkers. That I was not allowed to criticize this man, a man with a huge audience, a man who panels with enormous content creators, with millions of subscribers, but I'm not allowed to criticize this guy because, reasons. All right.
that denies every photo, video, and record? You can't. He lives in delusion. Sneako and Aiden did a stream where they shared each other's religions. Sneako took Aiden to a mosque and showed him how to pray. They washed before prayer.
Make sure you rinse 3 times.
It's genuinely funny and educational, and Aiden acts completely respectful during the whole thing. But when Aiden shows Sneako Jewish tradition, he has to constantly remind the audience that he's against this. Dog whistling that the Jews own Hollywood.
Rabbi, who are your top 3 favorite Jews?
Oh man, wow, I've never been asked that question.
Adam Sandler?
Adam Sandler.
Look at a lot of Hollywood.
Yeah, I was going to say, beyond Hollywood, who do we have?
He's throwing out JQ dog whistles constantly. Yeah, it's really interesting how people don't know about Jewish culture.
JQ stands for Jewish question. This is something that those idiots in the skeptic community started openly debating and inviting on guests like Andrew Anglin and other scumbags like that. That's when I realized that Andrew Worski was doing way too much coke when he was paneling or when he was co-hosting with JF Garipier, who's another one who's got his own sordid history, including a wife that has disappeared that people think JF killed, allegedly. And it was just, that's when I knew the skeptic community was over. It was a shameful thing. And by the way, speaking of Andrew Worski, I cannot tell you how much I am enjoying Kino Casino, how hard I have laughed. The partnership of Andrew Worski and PPP, or Ashton, the fat one, has been amazing. The chemistry is great. Their topics are hilarious. I watched them drag Tim Pool today. It was fantastic. So if you're not subscribed to Kino Casino, do it because it's hilarious.
Surprising how much people don't know about Jewish culture at all. 100%.
It's very interesting, right?
People don't know anything.
If they ever do a blessing or a prayer, Sneako has to stare at the camera disapprovingly.
We're going to say a blessing now in this film, Baruch.
Baruch, Atah, Adonai, Eloheinu, Melech, Haolam, Asher, Kedishanu,
What a clown show.
B'mitzvotav, Mitzivanu, Laniach.
The rabbi calls his friend who's a big fan of Aiden, and the friend goes, Sneako, it's so cool you're doing this. You're an honorary Jew for the night, and Sneako gets offended.
So I got a buddy who's a massive friend of yours who wants to say, massive fan of yours who wants to say a quick hello.
What's up, bro? How are ya?
Yo, you doing something about it or what?
Of course, man. You gotta make sure that we, keep this Shabbat going. Last Shabbat of the year.
Yo, we're gonna make Sneako an honorary Jew just for the night, okay?
Uh-oh.
What does that mean?
You can be part of the tribe for a couple hours.
No, he's in.
Sneako thinks they're going to kidnap and circumcise him.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be a guest at this dinner.
Love you, buddy. All the best. Bye-bye.
What do you leave out? I forgot. You leave out challah?
At the end, off camera, the rabbi tells Sneako that he's anti-Semitic.
The rabbi called me an anti-Semite.
No, he didn't.
He did actually, but
Well, you are.
I'm not. I love Jews. Look at this. I just beat the allegations. Oh, God. My heart is beating so fast right now.
Why?
Yeah, why?
You should have
Why?
put the hat on me to try to get a clip. He knew what he was doing. You knew too.
So you're telling me the rabbi was clip farming you?
Yep.
No, he wasn't.
Yes, he was.
He's too. No.
Yes, he was. And the other one really wanted to put the tape on me, but I skipped it quickly.
Sneako, you signed up to do a Shabbat stream, and you're offended that the rabbi tried to include you in things. That's literally the entire point. It would be like if Aiden thought the mosque was trying to farm him for having him wash his hands and showing him how to pray. And if you think I'm being bad faith towards Sneako calling these dog whistles, here's Sneako on stream calling Jews demons.
You're happy sharing a bed with an IDF soldier that's genociding Palestinians. That makes you happy? Well, my wife.
And see, every time I bring it up, he loses control of his body. He goes from laughing to literally being possessed by something. I'm telling you. And this is what I want Brad and Steiny to know too. These are not people that you can be friends with. They are literally possessed by demons.
He has Tourette's.
These people know how evil everything that's going on, and they cannot control. This is not the body language of somebody who is a good person.
Wow, Sneako, incredible breakdown.
You know what? As glad as I am that Ethan Klein is getting vindication and that everybody and their mother is currently dogpiling Hassan and Frogan and Denims and all those idiots who are the Hassan mods or Hassan orbiters, and the Twitch is getting it in the neck, and the Twitch's CEO is getting dragged by everybody. I am thrilled about all these developments, but at the same time, Ethan, I wonder if you have learned anything from this experience. I wonder if you realize yet that these people are not your friends. They have never been your friends. And when the heat gets turned up, they will abandon you and they will drag you. I don't know if he's learned. I don't know if he and Hila have gotten that whatever color pill it would be that makes them realize that these scumbag tankies will always, always, always throw you under the bus and drive over you a couple of times.
Goes on to demonize Hila for serving the Israeli army. It's mandatory conscription. Everyone has to do it.
The IDF soldier that's genociding Palestinians. You feel good about that? Well, it's mandatory conscription, so
it's mandatory. Like the Nazi that I married, they just were following orders, and when they shot the gas chambers up.
Amazing.
Do you see how much of a fraud you are now?
She worked a desk job, dude. It's so bad faith. He would never talk this way about any American veteran.
This girl here started saying that American troops deserve PTSD. I don't agree with anything she said.
This characterization of them is just so wrong. Since October 7th, Ethan and Hila have been very critical of the Israeli government.
And the government of Israel is a colossal failure. Netanyahu's a war criminal, a fucking psycho. I voted against him every time I could. And young people don't want him in there either. I mean, the whole country of Israel.
They hate him. They hate the government. They literally have been protesting. They've been out on the streets like the whole last year.
And yet, Sneak.
What utter shandas the two of you are. And it's not because of voting against Netanyahu. Half of my family in Israel voted against him, and they're still out in Tel Aviv demonstrating against him every week. But what utter unbelievable fucking shandas the two of you are. And look at the people you aligned yourself with. You aligned yourself with these gays for Palestine. You aligned yourself with Hassan. You aligned yourself with all these creeps and scumbags. And now you cannot believe that there's gambling going on in the back of Rick's bar. You people are just embarrassing. Again, I'm happy for you that Hassan is getting it, but I'm happier for Destiny, to be honest with
Nico's
be
still
honest
saying
with
the most
you.
horrific things about
just following orders. you're applying that logic to your own wife, and you share a bed with that every night. This is who controls the world, chat. Look at him right here.
Yeah, Ethan
He's
and
dead
Hela
serious
Klein.
about it too. He's like, Hela is so evil for participating in mandatory conscription. Meanwhile, he's glorifying the leader of Hamas who was recently killed.
Since the return, Sneako has lauded Hamas leader Yahya Sinwar as inspiring and a martyr, which he is. I'm gonna triple down Times of Israel. Yahya Sinwar was extremely inspiring. He's martyred, inshallah. He goes to the highest rank in heaven.
I love it.
Yahya Sinwar is an absolute hero. I think he's an example of what we should do about putting.
You know what inspired me seeing that man with his arm and his head blown off? You know how many times I've looked at that picture? If that makes me a ghoul, so be it. But it's almost as good as having a picture of Hitler in the bunker lying dead. That makes me a monster. I'll take it.
Putting what we believe in first.
Also, Sneako goes on to deny the Holocaust in the same stream.
This is how many people died. This is why I deserve more. This is why I'm perpetually a victim. This is why I'm a minority. This is why life is hard, because of the Holocaust. And it was 6 million exactly, no more, no less. The worst genocide ever. Woe is me. Nazi Germany and its collaborators systematically murdered some 6 million Jews across German-occupied Europe. Around 2/3 of Europe's Jewish population. Yep. Remember when they did these same exact Wikipedia facts for COVID and they were wrong?
They weren't wrong. Sneako,
you
for some reason,
didn't.
just thought the vaccine was supposed to cure all diseases for some reason.
The COVID vaccine is safe and effective. The COVID vaccine is safe and effective and will prevent all viruses from you. Take the vaccine. COVID is a disease that was developed by and Bill Gates got the patent in 2000.
Sneako's new motto is love speech.
Wow.
He's spreading love. But he's so hateful. He doesn't believe that any rapes happened on October 7th.
Of course he
hear
doesn't.
this often from
But it is
Zionists.
true in the Quran that you're not supposed to,
I don't believe
shit
that.
on
Like,
shit on hostages.
Hey, look, Donna, look who's there. Myron. Myron Gaines, another person I've streamed about. The fresh and fit loser. Absolutely amazing. You know, when I look back on the old streams that I did when I was still in DC, so it would have been what, like back in 2022 or thereabouts. And I look at the streams, or I think about the streams I did about the manosphere, and I look at how far they've fallen and how desperate they've become to get views and how they can't make money and how pathetic their followers are and how they've all jumped on like this neo-Nazi hate train. And like they're all minorities, and it makes me think, wow, we've come a long way from like bitching about feminists and women who vote to this point. Amazing.
I think they're losing a lot of credibility because people keep seeing them lie over and over again. Like Ben Shapiro posting those dead bodies, like they burn dead bodies. That's not true.
They were not fake photos. Sneako and Myron are repeating misinformation that has no backing. Journalists have confirmed it. The crappy program that checks if it's AI or not was wrong. But it's not just that they believe in some fake news. They believe that no woman died on October 7th because they were Muslims. And apparently, unlike every other religion, there's no bad Muslims.
They said that they were raping and killing a bunch of women. They were saying that they were doing all this stuff. And here's the thing, in the Quran, like you're not supposed to, treat prisoners poorly. Right. You're not supposed to, prisoners of war.
Oh, well.
How can you argue with this? They believe that Hamas didn't kill anyone at the music festival on October 7th, even though they wore GoPros and uploaded the footage taking credit for it.
Hamas raped, tortured, maimed, and murdered innocent civilians in the most barbaric ways imaginable.
Where's the evidence?
What they saw, and it's there for those to see if you want to see it. It's a terrible thing. I've seen it.
No, you haven't.
Glided into a music festival full of life and beauty.
Oh my God!
And massacred young people who came for joy and happiness and peace. They were loving young people, wonderful young people.
They just wanted to pop Molly and go to the festival. Really, bro? IDF actually did this.
They don't believe it because Israel's run by Jews.
Okay, now I'm going to issue an open invitation. Bridget, I would appreciate it. And I know we've all blocked each other, but soon Elon Musk is going to eliminate the block feature, which means I will be able to read each and every one of your tweets. I would like you to explain to me why it is that you thought that it was off limits for me to criticize this guy. Tell me, Don't tell me that it was because he's too young and he doesn't know what he's saying and the poor guy and blah, blah, blah. I want you to tell me in simple language that even I can understand, or maybe put it up on the community tab of your YouTube channel. Explain to me why you thought that it was not right for me to criticize Sneako. Tell me. Go ahead.
And they think all Jews are liars.
Jews are very funny. They're very intelligent. And so I have friends who are Jewish, and they're some of my favorite people. They're very extroverted. They're hilarious. But at the same time, they're not super trustworthy. Okay.
Whoa,
like they do. It's just true. And I know it from experience. It's like Andrew said. I said so. They have a talent for deception. And it's the same reason that they're funny, the same reason that they're super smart and good lawyers. It's the same reason they have a talent to spin tales and tell tales.
So do you think they think that they secretly control the United States, and the vague evidence they have is that they're in different
That's right,
industries?
Capone.
It owns all of our politicians. It owns our banks. It subverted Hollywood. It subverted every aspect of our culture.
The Jews aren't the richest people in the world.
I'm not even saying the Jews. I'm saying Israel. All out what it is. Stop saying it's a boogeyman like Elon Musk will say the woke mind virus. What the is that?
I'm just saying.
It's
Israel.
America is controlled by one country, and it's very obvious who it is.
Okay.
And so if you want to go blame the boogeyman, it's a waste of time. We know.
All of these conspiracies are always just questions and implications that never have any factual answer behind them. 9/11 happens, and Sneako's like, they recovered a passport after the plane crash. How is that possible?
If you look at the passports, for example, they were recovered in the plane crash. It was a burning plane and a pile of rubble, and they were able to recover their passports. This story, if you investigate it, none of it makes sense.
Why would that not make sense? Are you an expert in commercial airline crashes? They recovered all sorts of things. Flight attendant pins, the Flight 93 logbook. A lot of recovered items are literally on exhibit. But his mind's made up. He's never going to be convinced. Then it was Lebanon. Next, the rest of the world. They own America. They own.
You guys, I'm going to have to step away for 1 second. And I will be right back. Go ahead and take this. Hello, I'm back.
Own Europe. They control information, porn, Hollywood, banking, and your favorite celebrity. Israel is just getting started. Resist. Wow, the whole world. John Cena came and do a promotional stunt for his movie without the cabal being to blame.
Ready for him to get 10 more Hollywood movies after this?
Bro, he's already got the movie. He plays a male dancer in it. How is everything a conspiracy?
It's really incredible what gets a round of applause from these people. There's a lot of things you could say about this. Like, very obviously, it's a humiliation ritual. Very obviously, he's going to get 15 Hollywood movies after this. But I think like the bigger picture is like, this guy used to be the image of masculinity for a lot of kids. People with Down syndrome love John Cena. Like, white kids love John Cena. Because he's buff and stuff like that. He does WWE. Great point.
Notice how they targeted someone who kids look up to.
Exactly. They find one of the biggest role models and they get him to do this. And then he's going to influence so many people to do the same.
To do what? Walk
got
out
another
on
one.
Sneaky, my boy. He was a WWE wrestler. These guys humiliate themselves all the time for entertainment.
He's going to influence kids to do what? Walk onto the stage at the Oscars naked? I don't see that as any kind of a trend to be afraid of.
Once set up a bed in the ring and had fake sex in it.
And I'm proud to be an American that sells out to
They
Israel.
did, Sherry.
And I get naked on the stage for a couple of Hollywood Jews.
I want to link this back to Aiden Ross because Sneako comes off as a good but sometimes edgy friend.
So this is Sneako's gift to me. It's a Jew lamp.
That's delightful.
I want to say thank you, Sneako, for this gift.
It's hilarious until you realize Sneako actually dislikes Jews. Sneako's
Right.
fine with Aiden because Aiden's been eating up his propaganda. Aiden now loves Nick Fuentes because of Sneako.
All right, God bless, buddy. Take it easy.
Bless.
Bye.
I love, bro, Chad. He's such a W. I don't care, bro.
Bro, Nick literally refers to you as one of the good ones. You're an Uncle Tom to them and you love it.
That's right.
Aiden Ross, W Kick, we love you. You're one of the good Jews.
Groypers, I promise I'm not like the other Jews. Groypers, I'm not like the other Jews.
It's embarrassing. And now
It
Nick
is.
Fuentes is verified on Kick because of Aiden. Aiden's doing a content house with Sneako.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I would genuinely love to do the house. To have an addition to have Sneako pull up and be with us full time.
Update, Nick is no longer verified on Kick because the rest of the Kick staff thinks Aiden is insane. We're watching Aiden fall down the rabbit hole in real time. This is planned by Sneako. They want to radicalize more people.
I'm not expecting to start huge. Just kind of test the waters and see how I can do my content on there.
No, we're gonna take over. You mean, oh yeah, bro? No, I'm just gonna come in. No, man, we're gonna come in and we're gonna smash that shit because there's a bunch of retards over there. So we're gonna come in and take the retard market share. We're gonna come in. We're gonna have our high IQ streams. I'll come in there on your desktop streams every now and then, and we're gonna fucking talk about real shit. And niggas be like, damn, I'm tired of watching Demi sucks being over. I'm tired of watching like Neon. I'm fucking watching, Jack Doherty crash cars. I want to watch some real smart shit. And they're going to fucking tune in, bro.
Well, I mean, that's my motto is seek truth through funny. So have to do it in a funny, entertaining way. You could still say on Kick, which is going to be good. Like all our collabs that we did on Rumble, we could do the same thing on Kick.
As long as I can say we're good to go. And I could talk about those dreidel spinning fucking losers. Yeah, let's do it.
Sneako bragged about this plan last year.
How do they start? Are you going to get the random TikToker to start learning about Israel, the dancing Israelis? That's where they're going to start.
Oh, here we go.
Or are they going to start with feminism and then they go down the rabbit hole? Then they click on my Rumble channel and they see me talking with Ryan Dawson. They see me speaking with you.
And it's been working.
Why can't we get along? Why can't we get along? Why can't we get along?
But as it turns out, if you get a bunch of racists and bigots from different backgrounds and religions together, it doesn't take long before they start fighting. The only reason they like each other is because they think Jews run the world. Recently, there was a fake story about Haitian migrants eating cats that went viral. This has no evidence behind it, but like always, the bigoted conspiracy theorists run with it.
The whole internet's getting up on Sneako now for defending people who ate cats, which is a mistake. He shouldn't.
Okay, let me ask you something. I do see another alternative cabal, and there's a reason why all these people are together. I have seen some very eye-opening videos of Andrew Tate dancing. Have you guys seen that? Have you guys seen him doing the whole Magic Mike move against the wall and doing the splits and everything, and running around shirtless and this trying very hard to overcompensate and be like the uber male and all this? I think that there's a different sort of cabal that is formed. That is my suspicion. Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, Sneako, Myron. I'm picking something up here.
I've done that. There's no excuse to eat a cat. And
All these
do it.
closet
These
queens.
Haitian refugees have come into Ohio and they're eating the wildlife. They're eating the geese. They're eating the ducks. Local cats that are hanging out, they're eating the cats.
Now, Sneako gets offended because he's part Haitian, so he calls Andrew Tate a Jew, the ultimate insult to these people. And Andrew Tate was immediately offended. He's talking about ending Sneako's career.
I'm not here to end Sneako's career. I mean, I could. I'm that guy. But I'm not here to do that to the guy. The only reason
Oh, I have to ask Bridget permission. The Tate brothers are half black. Am I allowed to criticize them, or are they off limits too? I need to check.
You know, I don't want to get in trouble on this platform. I want to make sure that I'm permitted to say critical things about the human trafficking Tate brothers, despite their racial makeup. I'm just not sure. So just let me know, will you?
Replied to him is because he implied I was Jewish, which he knows is a bit far. Let's cut the bullshit, Sneako. Let's cut the bullshit. They ate snacks. They ate the cats. We know they did. Everyone knows. And there's no defense of it. Christian or not, Bible or not, don't eat the cats.
Sneako thinks he's about to be murdered.
If you think you can end my career, you're going to have to kill me. I'm never going to go anywhere. I'm never stopping. There's no—
Oh my God, speaking of being murdered, I swear to God, the funniest goddamn thing on that Keno Casino long live stream about Tim Pool was that Tim Pool is convinced that if Elon Musk decides to eliminate the block feature on Twitter, that's going to get Tim killed. Tim Pool moved from a very remote part of Maryland into West Virginia. He spends $50,000 a month on security in West Virginia, $50,000 a month. The guy is out of his goddamn mind. He has spent millions of dollars buying skate parks to own the local tankies or the local L's, the local libs, to get one over on the 3 kids who used that skate park before he bought them. The guy had like 100 employees. Nobody knows what they did, and clearly he didn't have a business manager among them. And now he is convinced that Antifa is going to kill him if Elon Musk eliminates the block feature on Twitter. He is such a fucking cow, or as they call him, instead of Tim Pool, Dim Fool, which I think is brilliant. I love Keno Casino.
nothing. There's nothing on this earth and nothing that I fear other than God.
Country was founded by white supremacists. If they saw you,
But they weren't. This country was not founded by Mexican Italians. It wasn't. It was founded by British guys. Not you.
These people talk about how women shouldn't vote because they're too emotional. Meanwhile, look at them. Sneako,
I know, right?
The record saying the eating cat story is fake.
I was calling out, and what I'm still calling out is the lie. The video of the cat eating that went viral, the video was a lie. Okay? The video was a lie. When the Haitian people when they're lying about the Haitians, the Christians don't stand up. The Christians don't care. The Christians in America, they'll throw them under the bus because for a lot of people, being white is more important than being Christian.
Holy crap. Sneako is caring about misinformation, is siding with the mainstream media for the first time ever.
Imagine.
This is a huge development. But then you remember that he's part Haitian and he's only doing this because he's offended.
Went from eating dogs, eating cats. I'm not eating pets, and I want to clear the air. I want to clear the air right here. I'm going to cover all this. No more meow jokes. No more cat jokes. Stop. So what do you mean hashtag save the cats? It's just stop. Okay. Deport Sneako. Okay.
Sneako's finally having the realization that white supremacists are bad. Most people can figure that out on their own, but Sneako had to experience it.
If the founding fathers saw you, they would have enslaved you. They'd be like, where is your owner, bro?
Oh my God.
And all he's talking about is white supremacists, white supremacists. This country is founded by white supremacists.
If there's a fake news article that's being spread by the president that we're both supporting, Trump, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats. If they're lying about that publicly, we should call it out because that's fake news. It was an American woman. Don't demonize a random country that's extremely poor because you just don't like black people. Religion's more.
Oh, what do you mean because you don't like black people? So this is something you just realized, Sneako? Yeah, all that talk about race mixing didn't set the light bulb off over your head. Listen, the thing that amazes me is how many followers these guys have. Most of whom are very, very young. That's what bothers me. That anybody is taking any of them seriously. I mean, look at me. I'm pushing 60, so I know how to be a little bit more discerning in the content that I take in. But their fans are very, very young. You know, young enough, and some of them are stupid enough to believe that Tim Pool had no idea that the new benefactor of him and Matt Christensen and Dave Rubin and all those guys wasn't a KGB operative. Because one of the things that Keno Casino brought up that was hysterical was nobody believes that Tim Pool didn't know that money was coming from Russia. I don't believe he didn't know either. And I've said that. Same thing with Dave Rubin and the rest of them. Come on now.
Important than ethnicity, and you got it all wrong. No, it's not. It's really not.
It really is,
Yeah,
actually.
I don't even want to argue it. We don't even have time for this. I'm just saying, no, it's not. So, fuck you. I'm the only one who will actually say it. These other streamers are fucking. Religion's more important, but my whole life's about race. Then say it, bro. What the man up and say it.
Okay, it's not T.O.S. to play a clip. So he's saying whiteness is the real faith. If whiteness is better than religion, then you worship your skin color instead of God. This is brutal. I did not think anybody was going to. I mean, I knew that a lot of people thought this. I didn't think they would ever admit this.
It's good that he's finally recognizing this at 26 years old. Sneako's solution to reconcile the relationship is to say that they're all equal under God and that they need to unite to stop women from having rights. Bro, you were so close.
The theme of the stream is let's put God first. Put God first. If you want America to work, if you want to get Israel influence out, because I do, put another one if you want to get it out. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I'm tired of being porn spread everywhere. I'm tired of usury. I'm tired of being a slave to the system, a financial slave. I'm tired of the fake news lies. I'm tired of feminism. These women don't make any sense anymore. The fact that there's even a conversation between Trump and Kamala is because women can vote, because of feminism, because of this wokeness. You know, this is not going to happen in places where they put God first, and they're not going to even allow women to. They laugh when women say they want to vote. I want to vote. Halas. You want to vote? Vote.
Halas.
Here. Vote here. They give her a little crayon.
Sneako, the way you view women as inferior to men is the same way Zerka and Nick Fuentes view you for the color of your skin.
Black people, the ones you know, these African Americans, their average IQ is about 85. It's about 85. And so they'll shoot you for no reason.
They respond to Sneako by calling him woke and that he hated white people.
In a city built by white people, in a country built by white people, and they shit on white supremacists and white people and defend Haiti.
I find this so utterly delightful. I think that it is adorable that all of these people found each other. And I think it is adorable that they're all at each other's throats. I really do. This was not on my bingo card, but I am enjoying every second of it.
Okay, who was shitting on white people? You see, and this is why I wanted to call this out, because I at no point did I say white people or white people wrong. I said white supremacists.
But if you rewind the stream 8 minutes, he was doing that.
See, these, like, a lot of them are white in America. These woke whites, they're taking SSRIs, antidepressants, they're taking Xanax, and they're getting drunk all the time. They're self-medicating because they can't even handle the existence of right now.
Reminder that this is the same guy who expressed huge enthusiasm and excitement and giddiness when he met when he met David Duke at that conference. He was thrilled. Now look at him.
They can't even fathom being alive. They're in therapy all the time. I'm going to talk to my therapist. I can't handle this. I'm autistic, they, them. I'm a they, them. I'm a non-binary. No, you're white and bored.
This all ended with Sneako moving to Kick, sponsored by Aiden Ross.
Somebody of his roommates to make an announcement, and I'm going to let them make their announcement now. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I am, you can go to kick.com/Sneako. I'm going to join Kick.
Spoiler alert, he's already been banned from Kick.
Tried to confirm the deal, but my source never got back to me. And all of these guys immediately said that Sneako sold out to the Jews.
Nick and Elijah will tell you that you should not ever be president because you're a brown Muslim.
But at the end of the day, I do think Nick and Elijah are allies, and I think we're stronger together than we are apart because the enemy wants us apart. That's exactly what they want.
All right, well, Elijah's publicly saying on Twitter right now that it's sold out to the Jews.
I'm going to talk to him.
Okay, it's hard to find an ally who says that you sold your soul, all this stuff. Like, what do you think? Like, what are we going to talk about? Like, I would never. Would you ever say that about? Would you ever publicly tweet? Like, especially right now. After all, I just got banned on 3 platforms. He said, "Sneako cooked to the Jews for money. Please repent and turn to God." Sneako wants to appease his new Jewish masters for quick money. He thinks he can rebrand his image by submitting to pedophile big tech Zionist demigods. He no longer cares about free speech. Sneako's only in it for the bag. It's grotesque, honestly. That's something that an ally says?
Sneako was then suspended once.
I swear to God, there's so much similarity between these red-pilled idiots and the tankies on the other side. They cannot form alliances, which is actually a very, very good thing. They all despise each other. They go after each other. They're at each other's throats at the drop of a hat, and then we can all watch the brawl and be immensely entertained by it.
One day into his kick deal, then unbanned, and then permanently rebanned off of Twitch. It's a poetic ending for Sneako to be eaten alive by the very same hateful conspiracy theory he's been spreading for the last year.
Telling you, bro, like these people will never be allies, bro. An ally doesn't write a hit piece on you when you're at your lowest moment career-wise.
They're supremacists, bro. They hate you.
I love drugs and sketchy pills, and the favorite ones are the ones that kill quickly.
I think it's a good thing that Sneako became Muslim because his previous religion was just whatever YouTuber he was currently watching.
Ultimately, if you don't have a specific faith, if you don't believe in God, then someone else is going to replace that for you.
Last year, Andrew Tate was Sneako's religion, so I was really supportive of this change, but his reasons for converting are so random to me. He's like, Islam is the only way to stop Taylor Swift.
Yeah, I mean, she has worshipers like this to this level. She has like a religion level of followers. Islam prevents this. Islam prevents this, saying women cannot rule. Women are going to be led by their emotions. Women are going to sway people and regret it 4 years later. We saw this with Biden, and we're going to see it again with Kamala.
He's more obsessed with the patriarchy than any feminist I've ever seen. He brings on experts to talk about it.
And they point the finger at Muslims to say, you're oppressing the women. You're oppressing the women. They're covering themselves. They're covered in this. And then you don't realize the women choose to wear niqab if they want to. They choose to put on the hijab if they want.
No, not exactly.
Well, what's your
because they do choose. I agree, but ultimately it's not about them choosing. Like in a patriarchal society, like I don't care. Like traditionally, the patriarch doesn't care if you choose to wear it or not. Like you have to wear it. That's the whole point of patriarchy. It's not equality.
His most recent thing has been advocating for the removal of the age of consent. He starts the stream mid-conversation with Charlie. Charlie claims
This was amazing. I hope that you guys are all strapped in for this one because this is really, really good. Sneako talking about removing the age of consent was proper LOL. It was amazing.
Didn't even know he was live for most of it.
He eventually called me on Discord. I was under the impression this was just him and I talking. I had no idea this was going to be a debate. I didn't know it was because it was being streamed.
The whole debate is basically Charlie begging Sneako not to be a pedophile.
Why are you so insistent on like the age of consent being like unreasonable? Or at least that's the impression I and most people.
Okay, I have this feeling that this whole stream is going to be demonetized. Thanks a lot, Willie. Thanks a lot. I mean, whatever, I'm just pleased. And no, that was not a roundabout way of me, trying to get money out of people. I'm just saying that between Hitler and the pedophiles and everything else, oh, there I go again. You see what I'm saying? But it's good fun. It's good fun. It's Sunday night. We're all having a kiki. Why not?
People gather from the way you speak about it.
That's a valid question, and I want to first ask, like, what's your issue with my opinion on the age of consent, age of marriage?
Because you sound like you want to have intercourse with high schoolers.
No, it's not 18 in most of the United States where we both live, right?
Yeah, but that refers to like Romeo and Juliet laws, where if you're like 19 and with a 16-year-old, it's not technically illegal, but you're not a 19-year-old, right? So why would you be arguing for like a 16,
First off, I'm not arguing to lower the age of consent. I don't believe in the age of consent.
You what? How young do you plan on going, Sneako? Charlie asked him if he would hook up with a 16-year-old in Europe just because it's legal.
Across the world, 18. I want to see, like, why do you think 18 is the age of consent?
Because that right now is the one that makes the most sense. I guess to piggyback off what you're saying. So if you're traveling right now, if you go to Europe, are you going to be comfortable like hooking up with a 16-year-old? Like just because it's legal there, would that make you feel comfortable?
No, I don't hook up anymore. I'm
not saying that you do, but I'm saying if you were, single and looking for someone, would you feel comfortable with it being a 16-year-old?
Strange. I swear to God, you know how long I've been asking myself that question? I've asked myself that about these idiots. Not Charlie, but, these morons. I've asked myself that about people in Girl World. I've asked myself that about so many people in so many different communities. I don't know what it is about idiocy, cruelty, greed, lying, and extremism that brings the views. I'm not willing to do any of that shit. So, I guess I'm going to be relegated to the hinterlands of YouTube for as long as I can manage to stay on here. But that's okay with me. I am just fascinated by the behavior of these cows. And tomorrow we're going to be taking a look at Andrew Tate because let's just say that he has seen better days. Okay. Let's continue.
If it's in Europe versus US.
I wouldn't do that. Like I would not have sex before. I think sex like out of wedlock altogether is something that we should not encourage anymore.
He's dodging the question. So Charlie asked the next logical question. Would you feel comfortable marrying a 16-year-old?
Would you feel comfortable marrying a 16-year-old? Like, would you meet a 16-year-old with romantic intent if you're in Europe and maybe marry a 16-year-old? Nothing sexual.
I probably wouldn't personally, because I don't think that I'd be on the same mental playing field. I like to have intellectual conversations. I like to be with women that are around my same age.
However, Sneako thinks other people should.
But other people, like, if they're able to get along, then I don't see why that's so much of a problem.
I don't want to, guys, but my friend does. I'm asking for a friend. Wink, wink.
Since when does getting along have anything to do with marriage in these countries? I actually looked this up today, and do you know that girls as young as 9 years old are permitted to marry in Lebanon? And that's partly because of the huge influx of Syrian refugees into the country, not because in Syria this is a common practice, but because of the grinding poverty of these refugees. And thanks to Hezbollah also. Hezbollah, the heroes of people like Sneako and the gays for Palestine and people like that. So yeah, the age of consent in Iran is 13. And can I just assure you all that when there is a proposal in what passes for these parliaments in these societies to lower the age of consent for marriage, that it is not the secular parties that are pushing lowering the age of consent. I just want to bring that to your attention.
Charlie thinks the age of consent should be 18 years old because that's when you graduate high school, get a job, go to college. Sneako thinks it should be when a girl gets her period.
To go back to that question, is 12 too young? Do you think 12 is too young?
I think 12 is too young for me. Yes.
Well, for you, do you think 12 is too young in general? I feel like that should be an easy answer.
12 is too young in general, correct.
The way Sneako says it is just crazy, bro.
What you're saying, your definition of adult is not even the actual definition. Do you know what the definition of child is? Like, anybody watching this can Google it. You can Google it too. The definition of child is somebody who has not reached puberty yet. That's the definition. But I'm saying that's the actual definition. When somebody reaches maturity, it's based off of biological and physical maturity.
Okay. Yeah.
Charlie is stunned. So the moment a girl bleeds, she should be able to get married? According to Sneako, that's an adult to him.
You're insinuating that it's...
Well, yeah, but that's the standard in a lot of these Muslim societies. As soon, and I think in India as well, and there are other countries, I think in Africa, where puberty, the start of menstruation, is considered to be the threshold that needs to be met in order for a child to be married off to a much, much older man. So I'm not surprised by any of this. I'm surprised that anyone is. I just find it hilarious that Sneako is so ignorant that he doesn't even know what he's talking about, but okay.
Sounds creepy and that I sound like a pedophile. What's the definition of pedophile?
It is an adult who is attracted to children.
Yeah, it comes from the Greek word pedo means child and phile means love. So somebody who loves a child.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
An adult who is attracted to a child.
To a child, somebody who has not reached physical maturity.
Don't you love the parsing of the meaning of the word pedophile? Thank you, Sneako. I love these deep thoughts. I love it. Let's be very precise in our definition, shall we? And poor Charlie was so sandbagged in this conversation. He had no idea that Sneako was streaming this. He thought that they were just having a conversation in Discord. And he had no idea that this was being streamed, and a lot of people were very critical of Charlie's demeanor. I think that he was caught so totally off guard by Sneako's insanity that he honestly didn't know what to say, but okay.
Yes.
That's the definition of child. Somebody who hasn't reached physical maturity.
Someone who is 25. Is it okay for someone who is in their 20s to marry a 15 or 16-year-old? and let me explain, when you're doing your arguments, it's coming from an adult. I've never heard you say like 2 teenagers should be able to marry. Like I haven't heard that with these takes. I'm talking about someone in your position in the 20s. Is it okay for you to marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
But teenager, even bringing up this term that has nothing to do with child and adult. So there's 2 phases. You're a child, and then you physically mature.
I don't know why you can't just
your
answer
body
that
becomes.
directly.
I'm saying the difference between a child and adult is when you're physically and when you're biologically, when you're mentally ready to have kids.
Sneako thinks you go through puberty in an instant. Your balls drop and you're instantly ready to get a loan from the bank and start a family. Sneako looks at this situation and he's like, yeah, I'm surrounded by a bunch of adults.
Right. The woman. What? No, wait. We love women. We love women. We love women.
But not like transgenders.
Yes, sir. We love everybody. No.
Okay,
Sneako looks ashamed here, but he's actually proud of this stuff.
W kids.
Fuck the woman. Fuck the woman.
Sneako's reminiscing about the 1800s.
You see how young his fan base is? You see how young they are? The same thing with Hassan. Hassan's fan base is very, very young. I was actually surprised to find that out. I didn't realize that. I thought it was just the Paul brothers who had, and people like that who had a Rice Gum and guys like that who had a really young fan base. But no, Hassan, Sneako, these idiot red pill fools have very, 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 very young fan bases.
When you could legally get with a 10-year-old.
200 years ago in the 1800s, when it was age of 10, that was fine. Legally back then, they were not a pedophile. Today, legally, they are a pedophile. There's no consistency there.
But
You can't allow the
government
government to determine morality because it changes all the time. Tomorrow, if the U.S. government legalized bestiality, if the government legalized incest, based off your logic, there'd be no reason why that's wrong.
He acts like these laws exist for no reason, like they popped up out of nowhere. You can look up why these laws were put in place. In 1885, popularity to raise the age of consent grew because people were trafficking, prostituting, and selling teenagers. People were purchasing 13-year-olds from their parents. Sneako's arguing for a world of child brides.
My belief comes from something that's consistent. It comes from the Islamic way. It comes from the Islamic way because nothing else makes sense.
I can't imagine being Muslim and letting this guy speak on behalf of my entire religion.
I want to be in a society full of happy married people that are ready to have children, that are...
What could be a happier situation than a young girl being dragged screaming from her family because her father has sold her to a 50-year-old man? That to me is the formula for bliss, isn't it? It's horrible. I mean, if you take a look at some of the photographs out of Afghanistan and Pakistan and countries in Africa, and you see these very, very young girls who have been sold to much, much older men, it's enough to make your skin crawl and make you want to kiss the ground of whatever country you happen to be living in that is not that country.
And those happy married people are sometimes in your world 14, 15, 16 years old.
Absolutely. By your morality, all of human history, everybody was a pedophile. In the 1800s in America, the age was 10. In the UK, 200 years ago, the age was 7.
Yeah, yep, 100%.
So everybody,
7 and 10-year-olds, yeah.
So everybody in human history was a pedophile up until 10 years ago.
Sneako thinks it was normal to marry 7-year-olds.
Right.
That's not true. The average age of marriage in the 1800s was 22 for women
there
and
you go.
26 for men. I don't know why he's saying that. He then blames the age of consent on the Jews because what else is he going to do?
The reason you believe that is because in California, you know that in Hollywood, that's where California, one of the rare places it's 18. Do you know that, right? So in movies, they say it's 18. The age of consent is 18. That gets pushed everywhere, right? Hollywood dominates the world. Do you know who controls Hollywood?
Oh, here we go.
This is why you believe that it's most people. Who controls Hollywood?
No, that's not why. It's because people have accepted that.
The reason.
Okay, as a Jew, I am fully willing to accept full credit for making sure that children can't be married off in this country. And I love how he frames that like it's a bad thing. It's amazing, isn't it? So all the Jews in chat, stand up, be loud and proud, because we annoyed Sneako and we did a good thing. So there you have it.
It's because of Hollywood. Hollywood movies say that.
Holy shit.
Do you know who controls Hollywood, Moist Critical?
Oh my God. It has nothing to do with Hollywood, brother.
It is. It is. That's the reason Western Americans, liberalized Americans believe that is because of Hollywood.
Charlie calls out Sneako's relationship with Nick Fuentes.
Nick Fuentes, you just dropped that name. Are you a big supporter of Nick Fuentes?
He's going to be the next president. He's going to be a future president of the United States of America.
So for someone that is all about love,
yeah,
he is. Do you think he spreads love?
100%.
Okay, a gay, allegedly gay, white supremacist guy who cannot open a bank account or have PayPal or CashApp or Venmo or any other one of those cash exchange platforms. A man who keeps on getting banned off of platforms is going to be the next president. Well, you know, I've seen stranger things.
He doesn't even agree with your existence. He doesn't like race mixing.
Right.
Not liking race mixing. He doesn't hate me.
He does.
Yes, he does.
Though.
No, he doesn't. I know he's a good friend of mine. We're friends. He doesn't hate race mixing, or else I would.
He is vocal about hating race mixing.
That's just not true. He doesn't hate it.
It is.
Yes, he does.
He has said it multiple times.
No, he hasn't. He doesn't say he hates race. He doesn't encourage it. Show me the clip where he says, "I hate race mixing."
Sneako, he says it all the time.
All
right
the time.
in front of your face.
These are all things which I would
They're both
consider
degenerate.
wrong.
They're both degenerate.
But
Sneako just hops on board.
Part of why Nick thinks this is because he believes other races have lower IQs.
on average, the races have different IQs. And so on average, Asians have the highest IQ, and on average, blacks have the lowest IQ.
Sneako's takeaway from all of this is that Nick must love him.
I listened to this whole call. I don't think he said anything that makes you want to cancel him. I think he's a good guy. He's saying, "Yeah, I love everybody." Is he really being that exclusionary?
That's crazy.
Oh my God, that reminds me. I haven't watched Abba and Preach in ages. Maybe I'm not subscribed to them on this new channel. I need to correct that. I love Abba and Preach. They are fantastic.
Sneako, I'm not even gonna lie. If he had his way and he had, first off, you wouldn't even exist because you're the basis of an interracial marriage. So whatever kind of prescriptive ideas that he's got for the world, you are literally an individual that wouldn't exist in it.
It took Nick Fuentes threatening to crusade Sneako for Sneako to realize that Nick didn't view him as a high IQ Asian.
Now it's time to declare Deus Vult, a new crusade against the Muslim apostate Sneako. He's greatly insulted me. He rallied his 10,000 Saracens, his 10,000 Mohammedans on a Twitter space last night to defame and attack me.
Oh my God, he rallied Mohammedans in a Twitter space. Not 10,000 Mohammedans. Not 10,000 Saracens. Oh my God. You know, I can only take so much Nick Fuentes, but I think that Willie picked some of the best clips.
This is a serious political show where we name the Jew. We don't eat dinner with rabbis. We name them. We don't hang out with rabbis. We don't hang out with Jewish fixers. We expose them. Who else?
Oh my God. What would it take for Nick Fuentes to call me out? Could somebody tell Nick Fuentes about me and tell him to shout out my channel so I get brigaded by all these groypers? I think that would be freaking hilarious. Let's continue.
Also apostatized from the true faith and the true church to go ride on camels and swing swords and
swing swords
la, 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 and wear a turban and say Islam, Islam, Muslim. Get the out of here.
But don't worry, Sneako. Don't take it personally. He really doesn't think that way about you. He's really fond of you. Despite the fact that you rallied 10,000 Mohammedans against him in a Twitter space. Maybe you and Tim Pool can get together and pool your security resources.
This debate goes off the rails. Charlie says that 9-year-olds should be able to go through trans surgery. But post-debate, Charlie would backtrack this.
Is it okay if a 9-year-old goes to a doctor and gets their cock cut off right then and there? And when posed with that question, I replied with yes. And I've talked about this on stream many, many times now, and I'll talk about it again here. I thought he was talking in hyperbole. I thought he was just exaggerating, being over the top, talking about the entire subject of transitioning. I had no idea that any living, breathing human being actually thought that that's how transitioning works.
Sneako, on the other hand, didn't backtrack anything. He was very proud of this debate. He's like, join the love speech community if you too want to get rid of the age of consent.
But make sure to follow the stream and join the love speech community if you agree with this.
Hey, feds, want to check that place out? Zerka, who was dry humped and kissed a 16-year-old on camera this year, then calls Sneako and tells him how good of a job he did.
What'd you think?
That was the most impressive debate you've ever done. Like, what the fuck?
Oh my God! This is when Tommy C and those guys told Bo Blacks that he beat Destiny in a debate, and then when Bo Blacks pissed them off, they finally all admitted that he was a spurg and he made a complete and utter fool of himself. And I've heard a few things about this Zerka person, but I haven't taken the trouble to look into him because, quite frankly, he sounds vile. I think that this is enough.
He's so proud. Dude, if the only people congratulating you are pedos, that is not a good sign.
This is what I said. There's no logical argument that they have, right? It's all just an emotional argument.
Apparently, age of consent laws stemming from child trafficking and abuse is not logical to them. Sneako was shocked to find out that Drama Alert in most of the world did not agree with his take.
Drama
Imagine.
Alert penned a negative post about you. Great.
He's doom scrolling Twitter watching everyone call him a pedo.
Drama Alert, why would you pen the pro Moist one, but not the pro Sneako clip? Clear matrix bias.
His own chat started to turn on him.
Why would you pin that clip and not the pro Sneako one? Don't talk about the age of consent ever. See, what I said is Islamically true and is true for the majority of religions ever. Even that clip is like, people are going to be like, oh, that's true for most religions, true for everything. If it's both healthy, if they're both physically mature and they're ready, that makes sense.
It's like my third eye just opened. It makes so much more sense why he says Cuties is his favorite movie. Or defending Dr. Disrespect.
Dr. Disrespect was in Japan, he'd be fine. The age of consent in Japan is 14. Do we have to call, if you follow American standards, is everybody in Japan a pedophile for living by the law?
Japan raised the age of consent this year because there was so much predation towards young girls. This is not a good defense. It makes these clips of Sneako and Zerka flirting with 14-year-olds come off as even more unhinged.
Actually, we would make a great double date. I like you on the left, and I think Zerka likes the girl on the right.
Oh boy.
What up, girls? I want to kiss you guys.
How old are you?
Got that white bitch smiling. Let's go.
Stop. How old are you guys?
Underage. Well, you just
like,
yeah.
Like how underage though? Like your birthday's next week type shit?
Like we can't go to Starbucks, white bitch?
Again, I want to remind everyone that this is the man that Bridget insisted I couldn't criticize. Yeah, Bridget, he's too young. He's too young. It was unfair of me to criticize Sneako, but okay. I wonder if she still feels that way. I can't wait for her to fire up a live stream or to post another video and explain why it is that it's still really, really mean of me to criticize this little bastard.
I will be turning 15 in a month.
It even makes me rethink all the time Sneako's gone on stream and has lied about Andrew Tate's court case.
I started the stream by saying free Tate, that they are falsely imprisoned. It's ridiculous that they've been jailed for this long. They keep trying to find charges and not really hardcore evidence of anything.
There's tons of hard evidence, leaked text messages and calls of him telling his bottom bitches to beat the girls unless they work. Maybe you're not listening because I'm killing you if we don't make money. Punch yourself in the mouth until I arrive because then I'll give you another 10, you incurable sloth. I'll break you when I get there. Vivian was Andrew Tate's first webcam girl. She was 21 at the time of this recording.
Melissa's like 28, Vivian's like 21. So yeah, that's how it started. I met Vivian in Slovakia. We had a long-term relationship thing. I was living in England. I moved her to England to be with me to start doing my webcam company, which I started. And you try and bring a new girl in. You actually have to downplay your relationship with the girl of 6 years.
21 minus 6 is 15. The prosecution cross-referenced her birth certificate with the date of the creation of one of the webcam pages he created for her, proving that he was selling CP.
I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America. 18?
It's 18 usually. You get married at 16.
All right, in Romania, 16. Sorry.
Sneako went and spoke at Vlad Obu's OnlyFans management conference. Vlad Obu is a professor for Andrew Tate's pimping course in the war room. 1 month after this conference,
Not the pimping course. Oh, God. All these men are so utterly disgusting. which is why I can't wait to cover Andrew Tate tomorrow. It's going to be fantastic.
Obi was charged for being part of a criminal organization around human trafficking. He told his students stories about how he kept a woman in line by taking her keyboard and hitting her in the head with it. For her, a bit of violence worked. This is part of Tate's course, so he talked and potentially took money from a human trafficking related conference. I didn't talk about this last year because there's a chance that Sneako doesn't know, but he's constantly and blatantly lying about the court case, saying that there's no evidence, that they're only going after him because he's a Muslim.
You're gonna tell me that it wasn't strategic that they did this on the first day of Ramadan? Some of the most public figures talking about Islam on a regular basis, they put him in jail from a case from 2012, 2015 on the first day of Ramadan. Why did they have to do that?
Bro, these guys obsess over Epstein.
Do you get Epstein's Island vibes from this guy? I look at him and I'm like, you ate some babies, bro.
But meanwhile, they've created their own predator ring. Zerka's on stream kissing a minor. There's videos of him and Sneako flirting with minors. They're obviously underage. He's defended the Tates blindly, lying about the evidence. He's seemingly taken trafficking money to speak at a trafficking event, and now he's arguing to remove the age of. At this point, they might as well buy their own island.
That's right. Painful life. This lonely, painful life.
Up here. Well, Sneako's mind is made of Play-Doh. You can mold it into anything. 1 minute he doesn't like Andrew Tate.
I gotta see this on. I don't know, man. Like these self-help dudes are just are too full of themselves. Like, why are you yelling about your jet on a podcast?
Then he becomes a disciple.
To continue living the life. So, Sneako, young man, if I disappear, I'm passing the torch to you. Keep spreading the message while it's still relevant.
He starts hearing a little bit about the flat Earth theory.
How thick is the Earth if it's flat?
Well, we've only dug 8 miles deep, so not even in the crust. So we don't know if there's a mantle. We just know volcanoes can appear.
Okay, so the Earth is around 8 miles, like thick.
No, way deeper.
But beneath that, you're saying is the black sun.
Well, no, it would be the Sheol oil, right? Not dinosaur oil, but the Sheol. They say the black sun's there, charging the moon and the.
It's an electromagnetic.
So check this out. So this is the underworld, right? Hell gives us a deception by giving us the apple. Half the apple is the sun, male. The other half is female.
Next thing you know, he's spreading it.
Have you ever held a tennis ball?
Yeah, I play tennis.
Where's the flat part of the tennis ball? There's none. It's round everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So it's always curved.
Yeah.
Ball. Every time you hold the ball. That's what I'm saying.
Sneako at one point.
Oh my God. Imagine having this conversation with Fuzi. Imagine a man who is so incredibly mentally ill. Yet Fuzi is so mentally ill that I can't even do reactions to him because he's so desperately in need of help that I feel like I'm punching down, even though I have a tiny channel. It's just awful. But wow. Okay. So the Sneako Fuzi collab, that is something that I did not know happened.
It was even against lowering the age of consent.
Why is pedophilia wrong, Sneako?
Yeah. Because it's not how a relationship, because God says it's wrong.
That's the reason why. Hold on, wait. So Sneako, no, wait. This is so easy.
Hey, Cecily.
So if God tells you that you can kids like he did with Muhammad or whatever, you think that's okay then?
There has to be a justification for everything.
So then what's the justification then for why pedophilia is bad?
Because it's not, kids cannot consent.
There you go. Good job.
But then he has one conversation about it.
We think that it's just because we have a different idea of what it means to be a child, which can be tracked historically. But now, if the situation has changed, we'd say that the general principle in Islam is, you can do what you kind of want, so long as, I'm not going to say you can do what you want so long as you're harming. You can marry whomever you want to marry, so long as it doesn't cause them harm, physical and psychological. To be intimate with a 14-year-old or 13-year-old who's got huge hips and huge breasts and huge body, I mean, quite frankly, we would say it's not going to have the same effect medically. I mean, no one can make the argument. But in these countries where we live in now, one is legal and one is illegal. So, in other words, you can't marry a 100-year-old woman, but you can marry that girl that's you can't be. You're a pedophile if you go for the girl that's got the hips. And once again,
Mohammed Hijab is such a giant scumbag. He seems to have taken the place of Anjem Chowdhury, who is now, thank God, in prison, finally. But Mohammed Hijab has emerged as the newest super duper ultra radical Muslim lunatic in the UK who gets way too many media appearances. I don't know why Piers Morgan keeps on putting that scumbag on his show. And I think that after the latest appearance, I don't remember who he was. I don't remember who he was debating, if you can even call it that. I think it was maybe Alan Dershowitz or something. Even Piers Morgan had to realize that, you know, it's not worth it. It's not worth the ratings to have that guy on. And I have a feeling that Mohammed Hijab is going to be headed straight to jail at some point. It's only a matter of time before we discover that he's been funneling large amounts of cash to God only knows what terrorist organization overseas.
Yeah, he looks like he's gonna bust a nut. Sneako then becomes an advocate for it. Sneako needs a handler. I'm convinced if you put a bag on his head, he'd get lost. He'd die in there. Because of the path he chose and being an extremist, his family decided not to invite him to Christmas.
I sure will.
Like this is the first Christmas I didn't go home because of my association with Ye. Because Ye was talking about they called him anti-Semitic, they lied about him. And so my association with the people that you want to have on a panel like Nick Fuentes and Ye that pushed me away. They're like, we don't want you to talk about this.
They're like, son, relax with the conspiracy theories. And he can't.
Wait, so like your mom?
Oh, not Pearl.
My family, just like my whole family.
Really, your whole family? Oh,
All vaccinated, all Biden voters, all Ukraine, you know.
Stop it. Can you red pill some of them?
He says his chat is his only family.
A good community around me. I've been saying in my chat, that's why my Rumble stream been doing so well. Like my chat's my family. Like that's what I look forward to every single night. It's New Year's Eve, and I'm just excited to get on the stream, see all the same like usernames that I see. I talk to them all the time. So that's the family right now.
That is really, really pathetic. His Rumble chat is his family. I wonder if his family ever tried doing an intervention on him. Because he is, you know, I mean, in fairness, he is 26, 27 years old. He is quite young. There is some hope for him yet. But he's so far gone at this point. I wonder what it's going to take.
That's who I spend the most time with.
He talks about how he legitimately doesn't have any real friends.
I haven't had a real relationship in a long time. I think it's impossible to do with this. And I'm not trying to victimize myself by saying this, but this is just what it is. There's no time to really delve into social relationships outside of streaming. Like even all my friendships and everything are all streaming relationships.
His worldview is so scuffed. He thinks he doesn't need to date to get married.
I'm not like dating at all. I'm just waiting until I get married. Like I don't.
To have sex.
Yeah.
Okay, but you do need to date before you get married?
Maybe in certain scenarios, yeah.
Okay. Huh.
It's because he's going to buy a child bride. He doesn't even have his conspiracy theorist friends anymore because they turned the conspiracy against him.
Tried with countless other white Christians to do this, and they end up saying things publicly. They end up, finding division. They end up like everything that you've seen. They always end up turning because at the end of the day, we're not the same. He just said, I sold out to the Jews. It's grotesque, and I'm only in it for the bag.
He sold his family, his friends, his soul, all for internet fame, and now he's being consumed by the very conspiracy he spread all over. So who's to blame for Sneako's radicalization? Well, if you ask Sneako, he'd say Hassan.
I was basically playing the character of an incel to try to view women accurately in 2022. And this idiot, Lasagna, watched this video. Was like, oh, guys literally do like an incel dude with 45,000 people watching. He didn't even understand it because of his low IQ bot brain. Doesn't know how to comprehend it, even though he's 30 years old, sitting in his room all day watching videos. He didn't get it. And he probably made more money in 10 minutes reacted to my video that I spent a month making. I'm like, why am I spending all this time investing into trying to change people's mind, trying to make difference on the internet where people are so easily brainwashed and influenced, when I could just react to shit, when I could just yell, because this guy's not funny, this guy's not entertaining, he's low energy, he's stupid and predictable, he says everything that Twitter people say. I can be better than this.
So you're going to say...
Okay, so we have Hassan Piker to blame for this. Thank you so much, Dee. Thank you, my love. I am beside myself that Hassan is to blame for this. All roads lead back to Hassan, you see? He's blaming the Jews, but Hassan is at the center of everything these days. It's amazing.
You're better than them, but you became them.
How did I become them?
You literally said, you literally just said that you did what he did.
He sounds like every single 12-year-old, 14-year-old girl on Twitter with a Nicki Minaj or K-pop profile picture.
The way he's talking, it's the right-leaning version of what Hassan does.
He sounds like the hidden replies on Twitter trending. Who can you say that I sound like?
So you're like Andrew Tate.
That's fair.
Because of current political events, extremism is everywhere. You have the extreme right, the extreme left, and the extremely stupid. There's a lot more I have to say about this situation, but first we got to detour and talk about Hassan. So subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Pax, for helping me with this video. And buy a fume. Shout out to the homies over on Patreon. Phoebes, Crimson Glass, Riveter, Christina Vina.
Everybody, please go and subscribe to Willy Mac, the Hi Stars, The link to his channel is in the description box. Willy Mac is one of the best content creators on YouTube. He is fantastic. He is fearless. He doesn't give a damn. And I really respect him, and I think he's wonderful. So everybody go support Willy Mac. And that is it for me. I have been streaming for an hour and a half, and it's time for me to go and have some dinner. So thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.